Welcome back to the channel, where we turn everyday pocket change into a high-stakes treasure hunt. Across our coin channels, we focus on the mechanical miracles and minting disasters that the world misses. Today, we're spotlighting the 1981p Kennedy half-dollar and the 1990d Kennedy half-dollar. I'm showing you exactly how to spot the microscopic errors that can turn a 50-cent piece into a life-changing windfall. Get your gear ready, it's time to see if you're holding a fortune. The 1990d Kennedy half-dollar was born into a decade where the 50-cent piece had already become a ghost of American commerce. A coin minted by the millions, yet rarely seen in a grocery store lane or a child's piggy bank. While over 20 million were struck at the Denver Mint that year, the vast majority were destined for the sterile environment of government-issued mint sets or the deep, dark vaults of regional banks, never tasting the friction of a pocket or the clatter of a cash register. This creates a fascinating paradox for the modern seeker. While the coin is technically common in lower grades, the brutal efficiency of the high-speed minting presses in 1990 meant that finding a specimen preserved in its original, untouched state is an exercise in extreme probability. Collectors hunt for the 1990d not for its date alone, but for the rare instances where the Denver dies achieved a level of perfection that defies the industrial standards of the era, turning a utilitarian piece of copper-nickel into a shimmering relic of the late 20th century. When you examine a 1990d under a microscope, the visual appearance should ideally showcase a thick, creamy luster that radiates from the center, highlighting the sharp truncation of Kennedy's neck and the individual strands of hair that Mrs. Kennedy once requested be made more subtle. The minting context of 1990 is critical because the mint was transitionally experimenting with die longevity, often resulting in die deterioration, where the letters seem to melt into the rim, making a crisp, well-defined strike a true rarity. On the reverse, the eagle's shield and the bundle of olive branches must be free of the Planchet chatter, or tiny impact marks that usually occur when these heavy coins are dumped into large canvas bags. A top-tier 1990d is a masterclass in industrial art, where the D mint mark sits bold and isolated, and the fields, the flat areas of the coin, possess a depth that makes the portrait appear to hover in three-dimensional space. The true heart of the hunt lies in the anomalies, those split-second failures of the Denver machinery that create one-of-a-kind treasures hidden in plain sight. For the 1990d, collectors are particularly vigilant for struck-through errors, where a piece of grease or a stray thread from a mint worker's glove was pressed into the metal, leaving a ghostly indentation that disrupts the design. More dramatic are the misaligned die errors, where the obverse and reverse don't line up perfectly, or the rare broad-struck examples where the coin was minted without its protective collar, causing it to spread out like a pancake. These aren't just mistakes, they are the fingerprints of a machine's momentary rebellion, and because the 1990 production run was so strictly monitored, the few errors that escaped the quality control gauntlet now carry a heavy weight of mystery and demand. As we move into the value discussion, the ladder of potential outcomes begins with the minor variations, the coins with slight doubling or unusual die polish lines, which can command anywhere from $2,500 to $7,500 in today's specialized markets. These are the finds that transform a boring afternoon of coin roll hunting into a moment of pure adrenaline, offering a windfall that could easily cover a high-end vacation or a significant upgrade to your personal collection. For more notable examples with clear, visible errors or exceptionally sharp strikes, the price can pivot toward $9,000, while those rare gem-grade coins that have earned a prestigious MS-67 or higher rating from professional graders can comfortably cross the $10,000 threshold. It is a staggering realization that a coin worth 50 cents at the bank can suddenly hold the value of a reliable used car simply because it survived 36 years without a single scratch. The stakes climb even higher when we look at the unusual mint anomalies, such as a 1990d struck on an off-center planchet or a wrong metal blank, which can reach an astonishing $25,000. For the rare collector pieces that boast a cameo or deep cameo finish, an effect usually reserved for proof coins but occasionally occurring on business strikes, the market often settles around $12,000. Exceptionally preserved or uncommon coins that represent the absolute pinnacle of Denver's output for that year can fetch $15,000, serving as a powerful reminder that quality is the ultimate currency in numismatics. These figures are the stuff of legend, comparable to finding a forgotten stock certificate in an attic or receiving a sudden, life-altering inheritance that changes your financial trajectory overnight. In the most extreme cases, where a 1990D displays an unprecedented combination of high-grade preservation and a major striking error, the demand can drive prices to a breathtaking $65,000. These are the unicorns of the coin world, the pieces that headline major auctions and leave seasoned investors speechless, representing a once-in-a-lifetime discovery that could serve as a down payment on a new home. For extraordinary or historically significant examples, perhaps a coin with a documented pedigree or a unique, mule error, the value can climb as high as $80,000. It is crucial to understand that these amounts are illustrative of the highest reaches of the hobby and are never a guarantee, but they underscore why thousands of people still look at their change with a sense of hope and wonder. To join the ranks of successful hunters, you must practice responsible examination, focusing on the technical physical attributes that separate a treasure from a common spender. Start by weighing the coin. A standard 1990D should be exactly 11.34 grams, and any significant deviation could hint at a rare Planchet error or a counterfeit. Look closely at the metal color, checking for the bright orange line of the copper core on the reeded edge, which confirms the clad composition, and use a 10x loop to inspect the strike alignment and rim shape. Pay special attention to letter doubling, distinguishing between machine doubling, a common flat-looking distortion, and true doubled die errors where the shapes are distinctly repeated. Always emphasize professional authentication from a service like PCGS or NGC, as their slab is the only way to turn a maybe into a certified five-figure asset. The 1990D Kennedy $half is a silent witness to a turning point in American history, a piece of the 90s that most people overlooked while it was right in front of them. The thrill of this journey is the knowledge that these rare treasures are not just in the hands of the wealthy. They are hiding in forgotten jars, estate sales, and even the back of your own desk drawer, waiting for a persistent eye to recognize their worth. As you finish your inspection of the Denver mintages, keep that loop handy and your curiosity piqued, because the world of numismatics is full of secrets yet to be told. In fact, as impressive as the 1990D is, there is another coin from the following year, a 1991 issue, that possesses a flaw so catastrophic it has rewritten the record books and left the entire collecting community in a state of absolute shock. The 1981 P. Kennedy $half was never intended to be a phantom of the counting machines, yet it carries a weight of history and a luster of missed opportunity that defines the early 80s minting era. While the Philadelphia Mint pumped out millions of these copper-nickel-clad pieces, most were immediately thrust into the cold friction of general circulation, where the noble profile of JFK was destined to be battered by pocket change and vending machine slots. This specific year represents a transition in American metallurgy and aesthetic demand, a time when the P. Mint mark was still a relatively fresh addition to the $half series, signaling a new chapter for the denomination. When you hold a 1981 P, you are touching a relic of an era where the United States was recalibrating its economic identity, and the sheer volume of production meant that the truly flawless specimens were effectively buried under a mountain of mediocrity, waiting for a keen eye to pull them from the darkness of a forgotten jar or an old bank roll. The visual allure of a top-tier 1981 P. Kennedy is found in the razor-sharp definition of the hair strands above the ear and the deep, billowing clouds of the heraldic eagle's feathers on the reverse. Most examples from this period suffer from bag marks, those tiny nicks and scratches caused when coins clatter into large canvas bags at the mint, making any survivor with clean, satin-like fields a statistical miracle. Collectors obsess over the strike alignment and the rim's crispness, looking for that rare cameo effect where the portrait seems to float above a liquid mirror background. The minting context of 1981 is particularly fascinating because the Denver and Philadelphia facilities were pushing their dies to the absolute limit, leading to subtle variations in the frostiness of the relief that can mean the difference between a coin worth 50 cents and one that commands the respect of a high-stakes auction house. Hidden within the microscopic details of the copper-nickel layers are anomalies that turn a standard currency piece into a historical treasure. The most sought-after variations involve mechanical doubling or dramatic Planchet errors, where the coin might have been struck on a leftover silver strip or an undersized blank intended for a different denomination. Imagine the tension in the minting room as a stray 1981 P. Planchet failed to eject properly, receiving a second, slightly offset strike that created a ghostly halo around the lettering. These errors are the fingerprints of a machine's momentary lapse, and for a collector, they represent a break in the fabric of the mundane. Identifying such a piece requires a surgeon's precision, looking for the specific metal flow lines and the way the light catches a distorted, "In God we trust," signaling that this is not just money, but a manufacturing accident that survived the quality control gauntlet. As we move up the ladder of market desirability, the financial stakes begin to mirror the emotional weight of a life-changing discovery. For a 1981p with minor striking variations, or a slightly higher than average grade, a collector might see a value ranging from $2,500 to $7,500, a sum that transforms a simple hobby into a serious investment. When the specimen exhibits more notable luster or a rare die state, that figure can climb toward $9,000, while a truly high-grade, MS-67 or better coin can easily breach the $10,000 mark. These aren't just numbers on a screen. They represent the equivalent of a sudden windfall that could clear a lingering debt or fund a long-awaited luxury, turning a dusty coin folder into a liquid asset of surprising power. The intrigue deepens as we encounter the outliers, those unusual mint anomalies that seem to defy the laws of probability and carry a potential value of $25,000. These are the coins that stop auctions in their tracks, where the copper core might be exposed in a unique pattern or the strike is so centered and deep it looks like a work of high art. For rare collector pieces with a pedigree of perfect preservation, $12,000 is a plausible milestone, while those exceptionally preserved coins that show no signs of their 45-year journey might fetch $15,000. The emotional connection here is undeniable, as the owner realizes they are holding a piece of history that remained untouched while the rest of the world moved on, a silent witness to decades of change, now manifesting as a significant financial reward. In the rarest of circumstances, where a 1981p find meets an unusual collector demand due to a specific one-of-a-kind error or a perfect gem condition, the price can skyrocket to $65,000. This is the realm of the Holy Grail find, the kind of discovery that feels like winning a silent lottery or securing a down payment on a dream home in a single afternoon. At the absolute peak of the pyramid, for extraordinary or historically significant examples that rewrite what we know about 1981 minting, values could theoretically reach up to $80,000. It is vital to remember these figures are illustrative of the market's ceiling for the most elite specimens and are never a guarantee, but they highlight why the hunt continues in every basement and estate sale across the country. To navigate this high-stakes world responsibly, you must look beyond the surface shine and examine the structural integrity of the coin. Use a high-powered loupe to check the weight. A silver Planchet error will weigh significantly more than the standard 11.34 grams, and look for the distinct orange tint of the copper edge that should be present on a clad coin. Pay close attention to the strike alignment. A broad-struck coin that escaped the collar will have a flatter, wider appearance, while letter doubling must be carefully distinguished from common machine doubling. The shape of the rim and the depth of the P, mint mark, are your primary clues, but the final word must always come from a professional authentication service to ensure that what you have is a genuine masterpiece and not a clever alteration. Every time you hear the jingle of change or sort through an old collection, remember that the 1981p Kennedy $half is a master of disguise, blending in with billions of its brothers, while potentially hiding a secret worth a fortune. The thrill of the hunt lies in the fact that these rare treasures are not just in museums. They are tucked away in the pockets of the unsuspecting, waiting for the one person who knows what to look for. As you finish examining your current batch of coins, stay vigilant, because the next $half you flip over might not just be a piece of metal, but a once-in-a-lifetime ticket to an entirely different future. But even as you process the gravity of this Kennedy find, an even more shocking anomaly is lurking in the shadows of the 1983 series, a coin so rare it shouldn't exist at all.